Hello there, and welcome to Fresh Film Friday's Obi-Wan Kenobi edition, the podcast where two dudes are going to watch every episode of the miniseries Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus and discuss it. Today we're talking about episodes 1 and 2, which were directed by Deborah Chow. I am your co-host, Alec.
Oh, I'm Erik. No, just kidding. This is Justin. But today we do have with us special guest Erik.
I'm so excited, guys. I'll just kick it off. My emotions are crazy right now.
Yeah, this has been a really awesome week. You know, we had Top Gun, we had this, Rescue Rangers was sick, so it's been a damn good week for media. I think the reason I'm so excited for this show more than any other Star Wars show that's really ever existed is The Mandalorian is obviously amazing, but we didn't know anything about that. We didn't know who The Mandalorian was, new character, knew everything. Then Book of Boba Fett, we again don't really know Boba Fett. He's in our mind, we're excited to learn about him, but again, we don't really know who he is. This is the first Star Wars show where we know the character, we know how he dies, we know, his origin for the most part, and now we get to see that like Oreo filling in between, episodes 4 and 3, and we get to understand what the hell happened. So this is so cool, and I'm so happy to be doing it with you guys. But yeah, just want to give that little intro there.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a long time, and I don't mean the 20 years since this trilogy has come out, just from hearing about it. And the fact that you got Hayden in there, got the Inquisitors.
Senator Organa's back, bro. Come on, give him all credit. Love it.
For sure.
Yeah, they're making the makeup artists work hard on him. I like it.
Oh, dude. He looks great. Come on.
He actually looks almost exactly the same.
He's a senator.
He has good genetics, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, this is different than I was expecting. I think the first episode we meet Leia too, which I was not expecting her to be in this show, which I'm very happy about.
Dude, the first 10 seconds were just, what a ride. Like, it started, I'm watching it, this Jedi's training the younglings. Literally 5 seconds later, she's fighting clone troopers, and I was like, oh shit, we're doing this.
Dude, I thought they were going to show the younglings getting killed again. I was like, really? This is how they're going to start it? It's just like Anakin doing it again. Yeah, that was a really cool way to start, and you hear Palpatine just execute Order 66, just like on repeat, and you're like, oh shit. Yeah, very cool. Also, you guys watched the recap, right?
Oh, of course.
Fantastic recap.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't need a recap, but I wanted to.
No, we didn't need it, but the line in the recap that meant the most to me is about the communication to Qui-Gon, which we've been teed up on as well. That's in the recap, and also Obi-Wan tries to do that in episode 1 of this. So it's like, we know that's happening in the future.
That's such a line from the third one that everybody's like, wait, you can't just throw that idea up there. We know that doesn't happen. But now, we actually get to see where he's like, Master Qui-Gon?
Just like you said, Alec, it's an Oreo, and now we're getting the double stuffed. We're getting that double stuffed.
I will say they kind of pulled the rug out on me at the end, because when it started, the first one, I saw, 54 minutes long. That's a good length. And then the second one was 48. But then they had 8 fucking minutes of credits.
Yeah.
They mentioned everyone. They're like, hey, this guy changed the toilet paper rolls that Hayden used to shit. This was his double if he was sick. It's like, God damn, dude.
Yeah, the credits are long in this. And they don't have that Book of Boba Fett cool artwork. It's just a black screen. So yeah, but whatever. Overall though, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean,
I got 8.7 so far.
Oh, damn. All right. That's good. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Justin, you always have your finger on the Twitter pulse. Are people fuck this, Ewan McGregor looks dumb? Are people going off? What's going on?
I saved some comments and some articles for the very end of the episode. I mean, this is such a hard thing, because just like you said, this isn't Boba, this isn't Mando. This is literally the events. We finished the third one, and that's what led up to Vader, the original trilogy. So I feel like the ceiling is impossibly high, but dude, I'm still happy this is happening. So,
well, it's a miniseries. It's only 6 episodes, so I don't think they're planning on a second season. But I mean, I don't know.
It could go in any direction.
Yeah. Now, I looked this up. So I guess Obi-Wan in episode 1 was supposed to be 28 years old. And then...
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Well, yeah, then there's a 10-year gap between that and Revenge of the Sith. So he's 38 in that. And then there's a 10-year gap. So he's supposed to be 48 now.
If he's
Right?
like fucking 85 in the original trilogy.
There is that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because they explained it, and there's no good way to explain it, but the two sons on Tatooine like age him faster or something.
You see that job he has? That job he has sucks, dude. It's like in the sun all day in the desert. Yeah, it's gonna dry out your skin. You're gonna turn into the Alec Guinness in no time.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Plus, he's been he's been working on the whale blubber farm. It's an exhausting job.
So they shouldn't call it Tatooine. They should just call it Jack, and it should just be like that Robin Williams movie where everybody's like, it's like Luke's actually only 8, but he looks like he's like 27.
I like that. I like that.
But okay, all right. So that's how they're justifying is the dual moons. Okay, so Obi-Wan, you better get your ass back to Tatooine and age up.
I picked up a lot of sequel vibes in the first episode. I wanted to see if you guys got it. Like, for example, when the one guy was like, "Hey, this is only like half ration," and like I laughed to myself because the boss just shoved him and he was like, "Get out of here!" But he could have just been like so reasonable and been like, "Hey, man, look, inflation's gone up on Tatooine. Like, I'm feeling it too." He just shoved him.
Yeah, I was surprised he wasn't like, "This is a Union man. You can't lay hands on him." Like, sort of.
I actually like that scene because it's like he could easily kick that guy's ass and take whatever he wants, but he's like, "I'm in hiding."
Well, I don't know if he can, dude. I mean,
oh yeah, he could take that guy out. Come on, he's Obi-Wan. Come on. What do you mean?
We'll get into it. I don't want to skip too much, but also Kenobi mixing his like dinner, the dinner that blew up in the water thing, and when he sat on his cave, it reminded me of Rey.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, man, people really love sitting and eating this food and looking at stuff they look at every single day.
Like Tatooine. That's Tatooine. It sucks.
Rey's on Jakku. Rey's not even on Tatooine.
What I thought, oh, she's on Jakku, right? But it's still a shitty planet like Tatooine. But here's the issue I have. Like Luke, it's like, oh, Luke, we'll make him a farmer on Tatooine, and Leia, you're gonna get like every meal is provided for you. Like it's gonna be like it's kind of like shitty. Like when they meet up, it's like, so you're a senator and this and that, and like I've been on a farm. Like, how did I lose that raffle? I don't know.
Speaking of Leia, so I mean, they knew how. First of all, she's a princess, which apparently over there means she runs the whole planet. So she's very important. And on top of the fact that she's a princess, no one else knows that she's also like one of Vader's kids. Who we don't know exactly that the prophecy says it's either him or Leia. You'd think she'd have like elite mercenaries guarding her, or like some like 50 plus dudes. She had like 2 like rent-a-cops guarding her.
I think she was pretty guarded, man. But like you said, I think the main, not the Grand Inquisitor, but the other one, Riva, I think her name was,
yeah,
like the one that's going rogue.
The third sister, yeah.
She said I looked deep in the Jedi archives, so she went to the Jedi Temple probably and found out information about where Leia went somehow. That's a stretch, but
you'd think they'd have that like removed.
You know? Well, how could they though? The Jedi they're running.
They've removed stuff from the Jedi archives before. Remember when Obi-Wan went there and it's like, "Well, this place doesn't exist." And he's like, "Oh,
right?
What the hell? Remember that?"
Exactly. No, they can, but the thing is, there's no Jedi at the temple to erase Leia from the database because they're all running from Order 66 at that point.
That's true.
Really quick, back to your point, Justin, about Alderaan. You're like, you think she'd have like 1 million people looking after her. Remember when Grand Moff Tarkin and Vader blow up Alderaan? They say, we're a peaceful planet. We don't have any weapons or defense or whatever. So maybe they're kind of like a planet that's really pacifist, you know?
It feels like that. And it kind of like, now you bring that up too, when Senator Organa is like, someday you're going to be ruling this place and bossing your cousin around. Your cousin's dead because he blew up in Alderaan, dude. Like everything in that planet's gone by episode 4, halfway through. That sucks. But it also brings a lot of gravity to Star Wars. It's like, man, this whole planet just gets completely vaporized by the Death Star.
Made an example of, basically.
Yeah.
So they also make it seem like the galaxy does not know that Vader is Anakin Skywalker and that he's like in control of the Galactic Empire. It seems like that, at least.
Yeah.
Well, no one's supposed to know. So there's like hints and stuff in books in between, but like technically everyone thinks Anakin died and they don't know who Vader is. So the fact that the third sister knows, I'm really hoping they elaborate in the next 4 episodes, because technically there's no way for her to know.
I was very impressed with this show. Thoroughly impressed. I thought it was amazing so far in the first 2 episodes. I always thought Obi-Wan knew Vader was alive. I did not. That was a surprise to me when he finds that out as a reveal in the end of the second episode. I was like, wait, he didn't know that this whole time?
Well, how would he?
Yeah.
I mean,
he thought he died.
Yeah, he left him next to a volcano or a lava pit. So he's like, oh yeah, he's dead.
I don't know. It's never said in the movies because there's nothing in between. But I just, to me, that was such a good surprise because one, we know Anakin doesn't know about Luke and Leia. He doesn't. But now we know the extra layer of Obi-Wan doesn't even know Anakin's alive. I was like, that is such an extra layer to this in my mind of the Star Wars story. To me, that really surprised me, honestly.
Anakin thinks that Luke and Leia are dead. He thinks that they died during childbirth, or when he thought he killed Padme.
Yeah, well, she not even childbirth. He thought he just killed Padme.
Yeah. So he thinks he killed his wife and his two unborn children. But I gotta say this. Why didn't they change Luke's last name?
Because he's under Owen still.
But why isn't his last name Lars then? Why didn't they change it to Luke Lars or whatever and then tell him he's a Skywalker? I know they can't do that because, like, they can't retroactively fix that. But you'd think, the last name Skywalker, they're I don't know. I feel like that's the kind of a little bit of a hole. But whatever.
Yeah, that is a little hole, but I mean, you got to think like, hey, there's so many Smiths out there, there's so many Lawlesses out there, so many Wellicksons out there. It's got to be a couple Skywalkers in the galaxy, right?
Yeah, but another Skywalker that's living in the exact same area
that Anakin lived in.
Yeah,
but it's just like it's probably the last place they would ever look. Period. Which is kind of crazy, and it makes sense because if Anakin was to go there and he knows Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and if he sees them with a kid, he's not going to think that's his. He's going to think that's them. So it's like, oh, that's genius, right?
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, if Vader can just like do some quick math, he'll be like, hey, like, how old's your kid? He's like 8.
Well, he doesn't know they exist. But then if he's looking for them, he would think that's not his. That's Aunt Owen and Uncle, Aunt Beru's.
But also, he has the Force. So he could just be like, that's my son. He wouldn't have to do the math or whatever. He just look at him and be like, that's like, and then he looks just like him.
Yeah, but dude, there's so many flaws with that. Like, I mentioned that when I was on Hop Geeks News as a guest, and how when Leia was captured and Vader was standing right in front of her, like, technically he should have sensed it within her. And he'd be like, wait a minute, that's weird.
Right, yeah. So there is all that.
But we can't dive too far into it.
Yeah.
But
still early.
I also sensed a bit of sequel Luke in Kenobi because he's clearly like defeated and upset. Like, I was pretty upset with Kenobi when that Jedi came up to him and like begging him for help, and I was like, it bothered me because like that's not the Obi-Wan we know from the prequels.
No, it is.
But like,
it still is.
The show is trying to emphasize that like this isn't the same person.
Right. I mean, that's what it is. This is him in hiding, and he knows that I can't do anything. If I help this guy and I get caught, then Luke can die.
Yes, exactly. So it's not just about Obi; it's about Luke.
Yeah.
So it's like any Jedi is like, hey, you're just a random Jedi out of the hundreds that have been thousands that have been murdered. Like, I guess you just stay running. Any advice I have for you, bury your lightsaber in the desert like I did and move on and get out of here and never use the Force, never use anything because it's worked for him so far. But he's not doing it for him. He's doing it for Luke.
Speaking of which, how did Kenobi plan on training Luke when he was old enough if like he can barely use the Force now and doesn't have a lightsaber?
Well, he had to wait for Owen and Aunt Beru to die, clearly. And that happened, right?
Yeah, but he's been
fucked up to say.
He's been suppressing the Force for 10 years, and he could barely catch Leia. Like, was he gonna be like, I need to train myself first before I train you?
No, he had to wait for Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru to die. Like, he's like, Owen won't do it. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with Owen. Owen's doing his thing, and then he shows up one day, and they're like burnt to a crisp, and he's just like, jackpot. All right, Luke, get in the ship. We're going to train now. That's what happens.
But I think what Justin's saying is, like, if Obi-Wan doesn't even have the skills at this point, how could he do it at any point to teach him? But I think, Justin, it's like, if you were an MMA trainer and you don't train for 10 years, you'd still know techniques.
Well, the genetics in Star Wars is known at this point, especially in the prequel trilogy, passing down midichlorians. His father is the most powerful Jedi. Anakin was the most powerful Jedi until he went to the dark side. So obviously Luke has those genetics, and so does Leia.
Yeah, but if Obi-Wan sucks at this point right now, how can he like train them? But
does he suck? I mean, I know he has a little struggle, like floating Leia.
A little struggle. She almost smashed into the ground.
I wonder what that is. Is that like just like
He's out of practice.
That's all it is. I mean, come on, weightlifting. You're a weightlifter, Justin. How long does it take to lift 50 pounds again? You'll be able to do it.
I mean, this is a little different, but but I think he had to stop using it because then the Inquisitors could sense it. So
right, yeah.
Well,
That makes sense.
That's the key.
Speaking of Inquisitors, Alec, Erik, have you seen Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, the show?
No, and that's the only negative feedback I've gotten from friends saying how they stabbed the Grand Inquisitor at the end.
Well, no, there's a lot to that, so I know that's a negative topic brought up. But first of all, watch that. Second of all, Alec, you've seen it, right?
That's the one with Ezra, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw most of it. I have not seen all of it though.
Okay, so in Rebels, which if you haven't seen it, like just power through the first season. I promise it gets better. The only thing that bothered me with that is the Inquisitors were like so ill trained that Ezra and his master, who I can't remember his name, something with a K, neither of them were like formally trained that well, and they were able to fight off the Inquisitors. So when I was watching these episodes, like if Obi-Wan still had his original skills, he should have been able to fucking smash all three of them.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if you have not, like to your point, like if he does anything Force related, he might get picked up by their senses or whatever. So imagine he hasn't actually used the Force from the end of episode 3 until right now with Leia.
I know.
So
he still hasn't turned his lightsaber on this whole show.
Yeah. Well, it's been buried. So, I mean, it's just like, imagine you do something and you're so good at it, and then you literally don't do any of it for 10 years. Like, you might suck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely want some explanation, though. Like, they have to explain why the third sister, like, wants Kenobi so bad.
The only thing I could think of is that she's trying to really rise the ranks fast, and this is the way to get to the top, is be like, hey, Vader, I found your old master. Here you go.
Well, especially if she thinks she killed the Grand Inquisitor, too.
She killed that guy. I mean, I feel like now everyone's going to be like, dude, what? Like, you're not on the team anymore. Like, get out of here.
I wonder if he's out of the picture completely this show, because he is in Rebels further on in the canon of Star Wars. But in this show, I think he might be gone.
I'll mention that at the end. I have a couple screenshots I took.
Obviously, there's a hierarchy problem where it's just like, hey, like, I know you want Obi-Wan. I do too. But if anyone's going to get Obi-Wan, it's going to be me. It's not going to be you, because I want to look good in front of Vader. And, that's what's happening.
I'm just going to say this. I don't think Reva is very intimidating.
Dude, she's got good parkour skills, though.
Yeah, she's, but I just don't think she's got like that gravitas. Like when she went in there, she's just like, where is he?
Honestly, where's Joe Testa? That scene where she's walking through the top rooftops of the building, like chasing after Leia and Obi-Wan, it reminded me of The Crow, and it reminded me of Dark City a lot, honestly. And also a hint of Blade Runner with that city, right?
Oh, yeah.
You feel that? You get that at all?
Well, I think the Inquisitors kind of remind me of like the Cenobites from Hellraiser, too.
Oh, yeah, there's that as well. Yep.
I like the Inquisitors because other than, this show right now and Rebels, it's literally always been just the rule of 2. And so, like, technically, like they explain in Rebels, these guys aren't like, quote unquote Sith. They're just like Sith assassins that work for Vader. But I still think it's cool because there's just so many bad guys with lightsabers.
Am I crazy? Is the Jedi Fallen Order game or whatever, the one that's with the red-haired kid from Shameless?
Yeah. Cal.
Yeah, Cal. Is Reva in that?
She might be.
Right?
I don't think so. There's another sister in it.
Because you do. Oh, that's right. It's the one that kind of looks like Michael Jackson's daughter. Who is it? Yeah, but that game has the Inquisitors. They're chasing you down because that takes place, I assume, roughly around when this show takes place.
I don't remember the dates. There's so many dates, but yes, there are Inquisitors in that.
And I caught the line about Inquisitors. They're Jedi that turned on the Jedi to hunt them down, right? So they're like technically Jedi, but they were like, we're gonna hunt with you because we don't want to die, pretty much.
For the most part, like the Grand Inquisitor, he was a Jedi temple guard. So like he was a guard of the Jedi temple who then switched. But most of them were Jedi.
It's crazy. It's cool though, because that just shows the Sith growing. Like that was a dying thing, was the Sith, and they took over because of the Emperor. It's a cool concept. It really is.
Now, I have a couple questions for you guys. There were a few cameos in this that a few I loved. Obviously, with the Mandalorian, we have Bill Burr, which is always fun. But this one, they had Kumail Nanjiani.
Yes.
So that was cool. They brought another comedian into it. And at first, I hated him. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I see what he's doing. I was like, okay.
I thought he was great.
He'll be back, too. He'll be back in the show, yeah.
I think, honestly, I would have been happy either way if they made him how he is, a fake Jedi, or if he was actually a Jedi and like he died fighting Third Sister, for example, like trying to stall so Obi-Wan could get away. Either way, I would have been happy with those two.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna find out more about him because we don't know what the hell his racket is with getting people off the planet. So he is doing something. He has some weird guy.
He might know of other Jedi who he got out.
Right. So there's that. That was one of the cameos I liked. The other one,
Flea
was awesome.
Wait, who?
Flea
from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Wait, who was he though?
He's like the bounty hunter, the leader of the bounty hunters who gets he's cut up by the Grand Inquisitor at the end, the bald guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I did
What
not
are you,
get
Chicken McFly?
Yeah.
He's been in a few. He's also been in Big Lebowski. He's had these roles in the past. This is like, oh, that's so cool.
Well, Eric, did you notice who Fifth Brother was? I'll give you a hint.
Fifth Brother? What was that?
The dude who has like the helmet on, the bicycle helmet.
Oh yeah, the Inquisitor. You mean?
I'll give you a hint. Family.
Oh, is he from Fast and Furious? Is he what I think he is? The driver in the first one?
No, he's the Asian dude from Tokyo Drift.
Oh, he's from Tokyo Drift. Oh, I was thinking of the other Asian guy from the first one in the drag racing.
No, remember they think he dies when his car flips over, but he doesn't die.
Shit.
Yeah, that was cool.
Right.
But the best cameo of all of it is the clone, dude, the veteran clone.
Yes.
Who the hell was that? I knew that was a thing.
Dude,
What do you mean? Who was that? It's the same person.
Yeah, he's the actor that plays Boba.
That's okay because they're all clones, right? I couldn't tell.
You mean you couldn't tell?
Well, he had a beard, and
I thought it was all CGI. Honestly, I'm picking that up now with how he's Django. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually took some notes on that. Hold on. When I saw the homeless clone trooper, my immediate thought was like, oh, even in a galaxy far, far away, the government doesn't take care of vets.
Well, you just did it.
Oh,
well, I mean, that says a lot about how, like,
You think the clone trooper was like, my disability rating from the Clone Wars hasn't kicked in yet?
Oh my god!
What?
Yeah,
No, I'm
funny.
allowed to say that. I'm a veteran.
I know. I think it's funny.
But you know what the cool thing is we don't actually know who that is yet. He could be one of two scenarios. One, he could be one of the original clones who maybe gets like reactivated to hunt Obi-Wan, or he could be one of the clones who doesn't have the chip and turns out to help Obi-Wan.
Yeah, or it could just be a random cameo, but yeah.
Or he could never be seen again.
Yeah.
Or he could just be like, hey, there's like death sticks over here. I'm going to hit those.
You guys want some death
pass
sticks?
out. I mean, that seems like that kind of planet. It's just like they're passing around like jars of
Spice.
Yeah, spice.
How did you guys like how Obi-Wan had literally no possessions in his cave, but then when he opened that box, he's like, this is my new like OLED Nintendo Switch. Like that thing.
Dude, that thing looks like an N-Gauge. Like one of those old phones.
But dude, like it kind of like looked like a Switch.
Yeah, like a really shitty one.
Like a Tamagotchi kind of thing too, and the beacon.
Dude, I gotta say, the way they were talking about Jedi was like kind of like racist-y. Like they're like, they can't help what they are.
They're lesser than.
Yeah, I was like,
dude, that was cool that the Grand Inquisitor, like he noticed the lightsaber marks on the wall, and then they just wasted no. Like, dude,
I saw that too. That was cool.
Like, first of all, he was literally lifting his hand to stop the knife with the Force. I'm like, dude, you think they're not going to see that?
Yeah, but what do you do?
Just don't lift your hand.
That's what they're doing they're showing him doing what he's known to, like Jedi are known to do. And Obi-Wan, he's in that same scenario of being righteous and that guy getting paid half of what he's supposed to get paid. Typically, Obi-Wan would step in and say, that's not right, and do a Jedi mind trick, but he doesn't do it.
Yeah, but can't he just stop the knife with his hand under the table?
Oh, the other, I mean...
He literally like lifted in the air, and then Third Sister was like,
or lift a finger, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that was so obvious.
But to your guys' point earlier, maybe that's all Reva it would take. It doesn't matter where his hand is. If even if it's under the table, all of a sudden it's like, ding, there he is, boom, got him.
So they feel the other people using the Force. Okay,
I think they do. I mean that's what I would.
I don't think that's been really said, but I get that as well. It's been more of like word travels more than we feel the Force. It's been more like, hey, we've heard someone show the lightsaber here. Or we've heard someone use the Force here. And that travels fast. I don't think they can feel the Force.
I don't know.
I think you have to be very powerful like Vader to feel it.
Speaking of Vader, what a way to end the second episode.
Yeah, that's about it, man. That's about it.
That second episode ending, literally.
They threw poor Hayden. Like Obi-Wan's got the easy job. Hayden's got to wear the mask and the makeup and go on a bantha tank or whatever. What's it called?
Bacta
tank. Yeah.
The bantha tank.
I would say bantha tank. Yeah, it's Bacta tank. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean his face looks like oatmeal. It looked horrible, but yeah, but I mean, all right. Let me ask you guys this though. I already know exactly what I think, but do you guys think that Obi-Wan and Vader are going to meet in this miniseries?
Yes, they better.
You don't think so? You think it's going to go to season 2 before they meet?
I don't think they're going to meet at all.
They might not. They might just do a thing where they show Vader on his side, Obi on this side. I don't think they technically meet again until A New Hope.
They've promoted this show as a rematch of the century.
They're really retconning this then, because when they meet in A New Hope, he says, the last time we met, you were the master and I was the learner. Like, he says that, okay? So if they meet now, that line basically gets thrown out the window.
He's still the master. He's still the master.
Mm-mm.
Anakin was never granted the rank of master. I mean...
But what I'm saying is that line loses a lot of credibility because it makes you feel like they have not seen each other since that battle where Obi-Wan was his master.
See, guys, this is why Lucas sold it to Disney, because he's like, I can't fucking deal with you guys anymore.
I know.
Yeah. Like, it was a random Wednesday in 2008. He's like, you know what? I'm done. Take it.
So right now, first episode of this podcast, I do not think Vader and Obi-Wan are going to meet. You both do.
Yes. They promoted it, dude. It'd be such a letdown if they don't go face to face.
I don't know if they're going to do a second season. It's going to be one of two things. They're going to show each of them on wherever they are in the galaxy, or they're going to meet. I really don't know. But if I had to pick one, I don't think they're going to meet. I don't know.
I don't think they should.
I would love to see them meet.
They're going to meet.
But I don't think they're going to meet.
I want them to, but I don't want them to at the same time. You know what might happen, Eric, is maybe they'll be on like a ship or something like that, and it'll be passing and they'll see each other. But I don't think they're actually going to talk. I don't think they're going to interact. Yeah, it'll just be like this really slow, dramatic.
I do get how you're saying those lines meet and hold a lot of weight. I think Disney's really has done a good job so far, especially in these first few episodes, of like kind of weaving around those lines. You know,
yeah, well,
I feel it, dude. I mean, the way they've done Leia, like, and Obi-Wan has met Leia before, but Leia doesn't recognize him on the ship, and then Luke brings him up, and he's all sad. Remember, she's like, "I don't know who this guy is," but she should, right?
There's two things about that, which I have the screenshots for. One, she's like 8 right now.
Yeah, she has no idea who this guy is. For
also, he's introducing himself as Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, Disney does a good job of weaving around those moments.
How do you like how Obi-Wan Kenobi looks basically identical to how he did when he was a Jedi? Like, he wasn't like, maybe I should shave my head, or like, maybe I should like, you know, like get a goatee. He's like, nah, I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah.
Well, can I put this out there too, guys, as we're talking about like weaving around stuff? There's that line in the Return of the Jedi where Leia says, talks about her mother, remember? And she was beautiful. She's this. Wouldn't it be surprising next episode, like Obi-Wan describes like the mother to her, and that's how that comes about?
Yeah, but she does say in Return of the Jedi their feelings, right?
Yeah. You're right.
I don't know. I mean,
that's probably the biggest like leap between the prequels and the original trilogy, is that one line where Leia is describing her mother. It's like, how do you remember your mother, right? Like, you were just a newborn. That's the biggest like what moment.
Yeah, but there's a few of those.
There's a few, but that's probably the biggest I can think of. But I think this is going to address that. I think the show's going to address that.
I just really want to say quickly, too, in the first episode when Bail Organa and his wife come up on that little, like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like that whole little thing. Obi-Wan's probably like, every time these motherfuckers in the goddamn thing, it's like, I always have to risk my life, go to Alderaan. It's like, listen, dude, we weren't even that tight during the Clone Wars. Like, get off my ass.
I was waiting for him to freak out on Leia. Like, Leia, he said, Leia, don't run away. Like, listen, hey, Leia, like, hey, put that down. Like, he's like, oh, I'll buy the gloves too, remember? But I was thinking, like, he needs to pull her aside and like, listen, Leia, if you don't listen to me, they're going to skin you alive and like throw you to the like obviously I'm joking around, but
well, they don't even want her. They just wanted him.
Right, but yeah, what are they're gonna toss her in the dirt the second they get him.
Yeah.
She's gonna be stuck on this random planet and no one knows where she is.
Did you guys want me to read some of the stuff I got here?
Yes. Wait, is it spoiler stuff? Like, what are you talking about?
No,
it's spoilers, dude. We've seen everything that there is. No, I took some screenshots, and there's an article that I took for people. So there's this IGN article, right? Which usually I don't like IGN articles because they kind of suck. But this one's called Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, 6 Burning Questions We Have After the Series Premiere, written by Jesse Sheeden. I suggest you guys look it up because the 6 questions are pretty like on point. And then there's some comments to it on Facebook, and they're kind of mixed, to answer your question, Alec, but here's one. I don't think it's too crazy for people to have questions. I mean, the third sister, who I'm assuming is a mid Jedi Knight level at best, took out the guy who was a former Jedi Knight and Temple Guard who was trained by Vader. I mean, come on now. It's got a point. It's got a point. She killed him apparently really easily, but I watched some YouTube reviews, and to your point, Eric, about Rebels, he might not be dead because we've seen like Darth Maul get cut in half. Palpatine literally exploded, and he's just like, my legs don't work.
Oh my God.
So this guy just kind of got like stabbed in the gut, and apparently his species, which were the same like weird kind of dudes who are on Genosha, like can heal themselves, apparently. I don't know.
Let me just piggyback off that really quick. If you look at his IMDb, it says he's in all 6 episodes. Sorry.
Okay. Fair enough. Second comment, this show could be way better without Reva, the worst villain in Star Wars history, terribly written, acted, and emotionally ineffective character. I don't really agree with that at all.
No, not at all.
I don't agree with most of that, but I don't think she's intimidating. I don't think she's a bad character, but not intimidating.
But the worst villain in Star Wars history? No. It's been 2 fucking episodes.
No, yeah, come on. Yeah, that's way too big of a statement.
This is a comment I saw on Twitter, who I will not state who it's from. This person said, Obi-Wan is a CW script met with a passable Disney budget.
I respect that comment.
But... A passable Disney budget. But for those of you who don't know what the
funny.
CW is, it's like the Flash and Arrow script. Like, guys, come on.
Yeah, seriously. Guys, I just watched all of season 3 of Batwoman. This is a fucking different world compared to that, so don't.
You're forced to watch it too.
Yeah, it's my job.
Last comment here, if Darth Maul can be cut in half, Darth Vader can be delimbed and burned in a volcano, and both survive purely on hatred, dark side power, and need for revenge. I think the Grand Inquisitor can survive being impaled.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah, that's the biggest issue or comment I've had from my friends that have watched Rebels and everything. They said the Grand Inquisitor should still be alive, but we might not see him again in the show.
And I mean, Alec, are you familiar with Darth Sion? Do you know who that is?
No.
All right, he's in KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. He's known for being, and if anyone's listening, it's on Google. I got pretty nerdy with it. He's invincible, right? So like he would die, and he would literally use his hatred to come back to life.
How do you spell it? Because I played those games, obviously. Is it Cion?
It's Sion.
Let me see.
He's the dude with like the one eye.
Yes, I remember this guy. Because he's good. He's like on your team. He joined with you. Yes, I do remember this guy. Yep.
So technically, like, even if Grand Inquisitor did die, maybe he was strong enough to come back. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, everybody comes back in these fucking movies. Nobody's really ever gone.
Well, maybe Emperor and Darth Vader found a way to work the midichlorians too a little too late.
What if in the Obi-Wan series, like Obi-Wan's getting his ass kicked, right, by fucking the Inquisitors, and you just hear like Obi, and he turns around and Padme's back.
No. Come on.
No. I do have 2 predictions if you want to hear them. I know we're a little over. Who knows? We'll go to an hour, Alec. Right? We'll go to an hour.
No.
I'm kidding. I know you're editing this. One, I think Grogu's going to show up.
Nope.
Grogu's alive during this. He was.
Why the fuck would Grogu?
Well, Justin, the start of this episode, the start of the show starts at the Jedi Temple. And in Book of Boba Fett, we also see a Grogu flashback at him at the Jedi Temple. I think that's a big, there's a lot of Jedi Temple going on. Grogu was there. I think Obi-Wan's going to have to turn his protection into protecting Grogu for a bit. What do you think?
I actually do think you might be right, Eric. I think there might be a cameo from Grogu. And I think what you just said kind of backs it up, where the temple. So that might be. I don't think he'll leave his duty to protect Luke and Leia for that.
He left his duty to protect Luke for Leia, but
yeah, but that might be the only person he would ever consider that for.
Right.
We might see a brief crossover.
Yeah,
I think that, and I don't want to say Mace.
That's mine.
I mean, but they did hype up Qui-Gon a lot, right?
Yep.
And we saw it in the recap, and we saw it in Obi-Wan trying to say Master and trying to connect with him. Remember that? And it failed. I think when he connects with Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon's gonna say, "You need help from Mace." And imagine that. Like I don't know. Like as a Star Wars fan, that might be the biggest, coolest moment in my life if he does that.
You think Qui-Gon's gonna be like, "Hey man, my bad."
My bad.
Well, we've had this before where Obi-Wan, that too. Hey man, like I was kind of wrong, but not fully because hey man, could he still bring balance? I don't know. He could, right?
Yeah, and then the sequel trilogy completely undercuts all of this, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, but I could like the way Obi-Wan tells Luke to go to Dagobah and train with Yoda. I could see.
Yeah, you have to go to this planet to train with Mace. That'd be cool.
And what if that's how he gets his mojo back, and that's how he feels like, okay, now I'm ready to train Luke or whatever.
And that's how he's still not the master, Darth Vader.
Maybe.
Because imagine that where like he's facing off with Mace and like Mace sacrifices himself, or like that's how they meet, and like Mace Windu's like, you're never gonna be a master no matter what. Like it's like double downs on his face.
What if Mace Windu trains Obi-Wan, and then the Inquisitors and Vader show up to where they're training? Mace Windu's like, "We meet again, motherfucker," and he fights Anakin, but this time he actually dies saving Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah. No, that I mean, if Mace is back again, this is it for him,
dude. Like he takes out 2 Inquisitors, but then he just can't. He can't do it.
Like does what Obi-Wan does to Vader eventually. So that's where Obi-Wan gets it from too. Like puts up his lightsaber as a shield and goes with the Force. Think of that.
Dude, Disney's they're literally just doing what every little kid did as an action figures with their.
That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now.
Like kids with board games. Yeah. And I'm not. No, he's not really dead. He's not really dead.
And then you put the Rancor, and then Boba Fett rides the Rancor, and then you get Mace Windu coming out and cutting his dick off. Like, so it's just like they're doing everything we always talked about as kids. But I've been saying Mace is alive since like the second season of Mandalorian. He's back, dude. I'm telling you, he's back.
Dude, I just want like a brief hint of Mace in this. Like, even if it ends, right? The last 10 minutes of episode 6, he's talking to Ghost Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon's like, he's like, "You have to train with an old master." And it just like shows Mace's face. I'm like, yes, dude, that's all I want. Yeah, that's all I want.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's all anyone wants. Another thing too is Senator Organa's the key character in this show. Do we think he's gonna die in this show?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I had that sense, like, I think they're building him up as, like, the sacrificer of some degree.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get blown up with Alderaan. He dies a different way. And another thing I wanted to bring up, Andor is a new show that's coming out soon, which deals with Rogue One, which is later in this timeline. Do we think we're going to run into anyone from Rogue One in this show? Rogue One, fans love it, man.
How much can they do in 6 episodes?
They could have a hint of Andor and like get into that show a bit, because they've done it with Ahsoka. Like they're trying to tie all this shit together, guys.
Yeah, I know they're really going hardcore Marvel nowadays.
They are. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I know this is gonna sound bad. I don't give a shit about Andor. I don't know. He was just like a whatever character.
Bro. I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Really?
But that's just my take.
No. I mean, it's better to be positive.
I liked Rogue One a lot. I think Rogue One was fantastic. I have a feeling that's going to be like a Han Solo character kind of show.
Genersa.
Oh, what else? I had so many other things to say, dude. I had so many other things to say this episode. But
well, what would you guys rate it? I guess the first 2 so far out of 10, because I remember it got an 8.7.
I think it's an 8. Solid 8.
Ooh, little low. Eric?
That's low?
I'm going to tell you this right now, and this is going to get a little sappy for a second. We were 15 when this came out, episode 3, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
15 years old. We're now 32, about all of us. My expectations were blown away in the first 2 episodes. I'm going to give it a 9.2.
Whoa.
Blown away. Okay.
I had no idea it was going to be this good. I thought it was going to be like a little like whatever, but I was blown away by the thought that went into it.
Dude, it has to be good. For the past 20-something years, Hayden Christensen's been like in a cabin in the woods because people are so mad at him.
Well, can I say one more point to that too? You guys know that Star Wars Celebrations happened this past week too, right?
Correct. I know, yes.
And John Williams showed up. Harrison Ford showed up to do the promo Indy 5. John Williams' 90th birthday happened. But they had this interviewer interviewing Hayden and Ewan McGregor, and he asked them like, "Hey, any final thoughts before we get into the series?"
The fun's just started.
And no, it's like this is where the fun begins from episode 3. The crowd went nuts, and I just love that they're embracing Hayden. I love that they're embracing the prequels because the prequels are good.
Like Britney Spears before him, he's back.
I know the prequels got a lot of hate from the original trilogy, but people are like, original trilogy is absolute platinum. The prequels aren't as good, but the sequel trilogy, I'm going to say this now, will never get that love. We'll never get that love.
Dude, I mean, we don't know, because in 20 years there could be another trilogy that's even worse than the sequels, and they'll be like, "Jeez, dude!" Like, I mean,
that's a good point, Justin.
They could be like, "Listen, Finn and Rose were trash, but they weren't as bad as like Pete and Tom." Like,
I mean, I'm gonna give you that, Justin. That's a fantastic point, because that's how it is in the reality of like time. Like, Star Wars is what, 45 years old now? 40 years old?
Yeah, 45, yeah.
It just hit the 40. That's insane.
Yeah, but you're right, though. Like, the prequels in, like, 2006, everybody was just like, oh, it's like dog shit on my shoe.
At 15, dude, I thought those movies were great. So any 15-year-old watching the sequel trilogy must be like, oh, I love Rey and the yellow lightsaber. I'm like, fucking, yeah. Is she a Skywalker? Is she a Palpatine? I don't even know. Anymore.
Nobody knows.
But people love it. People loved it. So
I know we're going really long, but I don't care. The three of us actually do have a very cool connection to this movie from 2005. Erik and I, we did see it opening night at Hoyt's. Yeah, I remember.
I was there with you, motherfucker.
You were at the theater with us for that night?
The midnight show.
It was me, you, Joe Gilberti. Okay, but there was another thing.
Mike was there too. Sorry.
Okay, so we all saw it in theaters that night, opening night. I remember we had the Jolt Colas and we're wearing our Star Wars shirts and shit. But then Justin, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember you got like this like Russian bootleg version of it somehow? And you're like, dude, come on over to my house and we'll like, and we like turned it on, and I'm like, I guarantee you, like, you have a virus now. But dude, we like started watching it. I think we both said to each other, like, we should probably wait till theaters. It's kind of fucked up, and we didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
I'll tell you this, guys. I'll one up you right now. I played the entire Xbox Star Wars Episode 3 video game that came out like 2 weeks before the movie came out. It ruined the entire movie for me.
Did, dude. Erik, speaking of which, I told Alec a couple episodes ago they have that game for $10 on the Xbox store. And now that you mention that, this was one of the only video games based off a movie that had actual clips from the movie. And on top of that, the soundtrack had Dooku's demise in it, so it gave away that he died. Yeah, right. I watched a review on it, dude.
Yeah, that game definitely ruined a lot for me watching episode 3.
Dude, anyone that looked at that would have known Dooku died in episode 2.
Right, you're right. Well, you have the face off in Mustafar with Obi-Wan at the end of the game. Mustafar,
like
Mustafar. It's not that bad. Mustafar.
You're like, I use the native Mustafarian accent.
Give me a break.
Mustafario.
Dude, speaking of Revenge of the Sith, when we went, which took so much convincing of my mom when we were like 15, because we had school the next day.
Yeah.
So, dude, I was like, yo, I really want to enjoy this because it's the last one. So I got a large popcorn and a large soda. And no exaggeration, that was the worst I've ever had to piss in my entire life, dude. No, like, dude, the theater was packed, and I was done like halfway through, and I was physically forcing my thighs together to put pressure in. And dude, at any moment, I would have erupted in my pants. And the movie got out. I didn't want to miss anything. The movie got out. I ran to the bathroom and like I was like lightheaded.
Dude, that's funny. I remember most of us were all in the first row. Like, I'm not talking like we were the first row. Like, Star Wars was just like in our face. My neck was like broken. Terrible seats, but yeah, dude, that was a great time. To get sappy again. 2 scenes in this movie. One with the scene with Leia with Obi-Wan, where he's just like, you remind me of someone. I got sappy. I'm having a daughter in about a month, and I'm just so like, I love that scene where it's just like you carry on personality traits from people. But the other thing I wanted to bring up that's kind of sappy as well is episode 3 was the last movie I saw in theaters with my dad before he passed away, and it was Father's Day when we saw it. It was a little after when we saw it, like it was a month later, and he was pretty sick at the time. But saw that, and I just like I don't know. Watching the show, I just got like all these memories back, and it was beautiful. And I really 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 like this show personally, and as a Star Wars fan, and I can't wait to watch episode 3.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Do we know what day of the week the next one comes out?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, we're doing a Wednesday thing, Disney. Okay.
We're doing
All right,
Wednesdays.
Deborah Chow.
Wednesdays in
Yes.
the summer. Yeah, because God forbid they do. Fridays in the summer aren't going to work. No one's going to watch it on a Friday night.
No.
in the summer. So I get the Wednesday thing.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, cool. Well, Erik, thank you for joining. Hopefully, I mean, dude, you can come back next week.
I would like to ride this out with you guys. I would.
Yeah.
I would. If I can make it happen, I will.
All right. Well, let us know. And if not, then, I'm sure we can find some Twitter people that are dying to talk about it.
By episode 3, I'm probably like, this show sucks. I don't know what happened. Like, I hate this show. No, I don't know.
Oh my god. Well, anyways, everybody, thank you very much for listening in today to our first reviews of the first episode and second episode of Obi-Wan. If you haven't had a chance yet, we had our episode on Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. It came out on Fresh Film Fridays, and we have New Nightmare coming out on Monday, and then also we have a special episode with Top Gun coming out, so get ready for that. And we'll see everybody next Wednesday.
All right.
Woo! May the force be with you, or something.